Finally got up. It's about 9 o'clock. I had a good sleep. Temperature is good in my sleeping bag. Didn't feel cold at all, not once. So really comfortable. It was about -4 in the tent. So it must have been a little bit colder outside. But overall, slept really well. Good ventilation in here, no condensation on the walls. I can hear the wind in the trees all night. I can even hear it right now. So I got a nice little breeze coming through the tent, which is keeping everything dry. You give out a lot of moisture just through your breath. So that's why it's good to not sleep with the sleeping bag over your face so you don't get all wet. But yeah, felt good to sleep in, and gonna look outside. I heard it was snowing most of the night, and judging by the condensation on the outside of the rain fly, we got some snow last night, so curious to see if there's anything on the ground. So gonna get up, check out the campsite a bit more, maybe get a fire going, and cook some breakfast, have something warm, have some coffee or hot chocolate, and then I'll think about what I want to do today. Still waking up, but feeling good. Oh, so nice out there. Beautiful morning. I don't know if you can pick that up, but I can hear the wind blowing up there. So glad I'm on the south end of the island. Got a good strong north wind. I think it was supposed to be up to 30 kilometers an hour, if not more. So it's nice to be tucked away. Still get a little bit of a breeze, so it doesn't take much to get your hands cool. But nice little skift of snow on the ground. It was kind of nice hearing the snow hit the tent last night. And yeah, so my first order of business, I'm gonna get some wood, get a stockpile going, and then maybe get my tarp up in case it starts raining or snowing a bit more. And then I'm gonna clean up because this place is a mess. You know, bottles, cans, sinks, a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm just gonna pile all that stuff together, clean up this, excuse me, clean up the camp a little bit, make myself at home. I don't think I'm gonna take down and then go find another campsite, just because my tent is covered in snow, it's wet. I got my sleep system dialed in, everything's kind of sorted in the tent. So at this point, given that I only have 2 more nights, I'm just gonna leave it. If it was summertime and warm, no problem, I'd take down and get going, but a few extra steps needed when it's cold like this out here. Got some wood, so I'm just gonna cut it up, make a little pile, and get ready to make a fire. So I'm using this saw. This is the Agua Boreal 21 folding saw. So really like this saw. Got my big mitts on. I think I showed it on one of the portages for At to Clear. But it folds up just like that. So nice and small, it's safe. I'm gonna do another video on some of the other saws I've used and why this is the one I landed with. So far this saw is awesome. I don't usually bring an axe or anything like that on a trip. But I have this little tiny hatchet. So see how thin it is. It's light. I don't know how well it's gonna be, maybe for batoning in splitting some kindling and wood. That's what it'll work for. Maybe some of the branches it might work. So I'm gonna give it a shot. So I do work at a company called Princess Auto, one of my favorite stores. Not only because I work there, but I am also a customer. So when a coworker found out that I was going on this trip, they gave me a bunch of tools like this. A fixed blade knife, and there's a folding knife as well that I'm going to test out. So along with these gloves, these are some cold weather, just Watson gloves, which I got from Princess Auto as well. So yeah, it always helps when you work for a good store that has some of the items you're looking for these backcountry trips. So far, this is pretty handy actually. Anything over 3/4 of an inch, you know, you struggle with a bit, but it's enough to get a good slice into it and break it. But yeah, this is handy. It's light. The grip's not too bad, so hey, I like it. That pole to get a little height on your tarp or when you don't have trees is super useful. So it's a shout out to Ted Baird. I saw his video from a couple of years ago, and ever since I've used it. I don't always need it, but times like this where without going too far back into the bush and I want to be out front on the lake, that comes in really handy. Areas where there's a lot of rock, like it's essentially all rock down to here. Look for areas that maybe have a root like this one. So it's shallow. I could only go in about 1 inch, but I was able to push it and wedge it under. And then I have one of these Night Eyes carabiners on here. And that way I've been adjusting it as the winds change, make it a little tighter and looser and whatnot. So also where there's no roots or you can't get your peg in at all, utilize rocks, but use your peg, your tent peg as well. I use these MSR ground stakes, which are really great aluminum stakes. But there's enough weight on this rock that it holds it in place. An alternative is you can slide this loop down halfway down to make a T, and then put the T that's crossing the ground and put a rock on top of that. So I used to, like a lot of people, tie a rope around the rock, which is okay, but I find if there's a wind and it pushes the rock and the rock turns, the rope always kind of falls off. So I found using your tent peg under rocks works way better. It's 12 o'clock
Haven't eaten a thing yet. I've been busy this morning, which is all right by me. Work up an appetite. So I've been busy processing wood, getting that all ready for a fire. I got detoured by cleaning up a lot of garbage when I was looking for wood. So there's propane tanks, there's all sorts of stuff in the bush. Anyways, more on that later. But set up this shelter here just so I could have a dry space, and which is good. Move the fire pit right here, or wasn't being used anyways. They're using a fire ring with rocks. I don't know why, but anyways, all set up, ready to go. So on the menu for, I guess, breakfast, lunch right now is I have the grouse that I caught yesterday. So I'm going to fillet those into strips, and then I'm going to apply some Catch and Cook coating mix, which I love. It's locally made in Manitoba. And I'm going to make Mountain House scrambled eggs and mix those together in a skillet. So sounds like a strange combination, but lately a lot of items in my diet are brown rice, spinach, chicken, and eggs. Those are probably like the core things that I eat nowadays. And chicken and eggs is my new thing. Just goes together. I just scramble up some chicken, eggs. Obviously grouse is going to taste different, but it's along the same idea. After Thanksgiving, I mixed in turkey with eggs. Tasted good. So that works for me. That's what I'm on to right now. And so I'm going to go get that ready, and then I'm going to get a fire going first, get that nice and hot, just so I could boil my water and cook the grouse on there on the fry pan over the fire. I have my canister stove, but might as well use the fire, take advantage of it. Unlike some of my other trips in the past where I'm go, I don't really have that luxury all the time of cooking over the fire. This time I'm at the same campsite. I have no schedule, no agenda, which is super nice. So I'm just gonna take my time, get that ready, and then once I'm done eating, then I'll think about what I need to do for the rest of the day. I need to fill my 2 Nalgene bottles with water, so I'm going to filter some water, process some more firewood just for tonight, and then maybe try some fishing, some more hunting and exploring. So we'll see what it feels like. Or if it starts snowing it even more, then I might hunker down in the tent and start reading a book. So we will see. But anyways, I'm hungry. Got to get at it. Okay, you're gonna make a fire. I do have some fire starter. I don't know if I'll need it. Well, I don't really need it because I found some dry birch bark, but I'm gonna test it out. So I made this. So I got some actual fat wood and some pine pitch in here. So I'm using just this little Stanley flask. I think it came with 2 little cups, shot glasses in there, but I just use it. So I have some birch bark in here and about 3 or 4 homemade fire starters mixed in with some fat wood and pine pitch. So I made this fire starter with dryer lint, sawdust. There's some pine pitch in there, a little bit of fat wood shaved in there. I wrapped it in newspaper, and it's all soaked with Vaseline. So I did a test with this, and I think it went for like 15 minutes or something. So it seemed to work pretty good. So I'm going to test it out here. The wood and branches obviously are a little wet, but when I was cutting them, the inside looks pretty dry. So I think that's why I'm using the fire starter, just to give it a little extra to get into that wet wood. Looks like we got a good fire here. Good. I'm just gonna pile this up once it gets going on its own, and I'm gonna get my lunch ready. Look at that. The sun is out. Blue skies. That is unbelievable. Wow. It's awesome. So the sun came out, I pulled out the solar charger, the Gold Zero Nomad 10, and I'm charging up my cell phone. So I'm going to seize the opportunity to charge it up. Instead of using my power bank, I'll save that, but this is great. Look at that. I'm using my Canon here, but wow, that's amazing. It's just sunny. It feels so good on the face. So I have my hiking boots that I was wading in water yesterday. I will take those out, let them get some sun, put them by the fire. So I think I'm gonna need my sunglasses too. Woohoo! This is awesome. All right, I'm just gonna process the grouse. So I'll rinse them after. I need a little bit of water too for the coating mix. So I'm just gonna cut off as much of the meat as possible. I'm using this folding knife. So this is the knife that came with that hatchet that I'm testing out. I haven't used it before. So far has a really good edge on it. So there you go. It's nice breast there. So when you're hunting, you got to watch out for the BBs that are inside. A smaller strip here. There we go. So I'm going to clean these up, get a little meat on here, and make sure we don't waste any of that. And then I'm going to go rinse this off, and then fire should be good and hot and ready to go by the time we get back, and we'll get cooking. So I was curious about it being below zero, how some of my water and food would be, as I don't want it in my tent, obviously. So there's the olive oil, as you can see, pretty much frozen. Water was fine. Wasn't cold enough for that, but it seems like the oil freezes pretty quickly. So luckily, I do have it in these GSI little pouches. In the past, I used to bring a big bottle of oil, but I'm not eating as much fatty stuff these days, so this is probably just enough. But luckily, it was squeezable, so I could squeeze it out. Before I had it in a little, I think it was like an almond extract bottle or something. It was brown and it was quite rigid. So if I put my oil in that, there's no way I would have been able to get that out. I'd have to put that in some warm water or something. I got the waters done. That was boiled. So I'm going to put that in the eggs in a few minutes. I don't know if you can hear the frying pan sizzle. So it's snowing outside, so oil and water. Yeah, there you go. So this could be a little messy. So I'm just want to get this grouse on there, start frying it up. This table is actually really nice to have. So I'm gonna put it all on here. Just gonna sprinkle a generous amount on there. Here's the Catch and Cook coating mix. So love this stuff. My kids like it too. And I picked this up at Lake of the Woods Wholesale. Just in Transcona there. Easier in a Ziploc bag, just to shake it around, but I like to save my Ziploc bags for garbage and cleanup and fish fillets or whatever, what have you. So I already got dishes to do anyway, so I might as well get another one dirty here. So I don't have a ton of oil to like deep fry it, so I'm just gonna lightly coat this just to get a little seasoning on there. And there we go. Over to the fry pan. Look at that. It's amazing. All right, my lunch is finally done. It looks amazing. Check that out. I don't know if I could eat all that, but I'm gonna try. That is delicious. Some grouse. Got a little bit of the Mountain House scrambled eggs with red and green peppers and ham. Sizzled that a little bit on the fry pan. Looks delicious. Can't wait to get into this. First thing is the grouse. Oh, that is amazing. It tastes just like chicken fingers. So it's the benefit of cleaning your grouse right away and also keeping it cold as quickly as possible. Gets rid of some of the gaminess. And then that catch and cook coating mix. This is the perfect touch. Look at that, baby. Amazing. Oh, if you're wondering what's in my hand, it's just a thing to clean the camera lens. So, not sure why I'm carrying that around. Anyways, I'm gonna eat. Starved. So I'm just sitting under my tarp. It's about 3:30 maybe. I was thinking of getting out and going fishing and doing a little exploring, and then the snow started to come and the wind started to pick up. So from the backside of this island where I am now, it doesn't seem all that bad, but I could hear the wind, and when I look up at the trees, they're moving pretty good. And I can see the water at a pretty good distance. It's pretty fast moving. No whitecaps or anything, but there's definitely a weather system coming in. So just sitting here and waiting to see if it passes. So I'm just walking around the island where I'm camping. Yeah. It's unbelievable. Everywhere I go, there's garbage. Even the spots I've been before. There's just so much tucked away in the bush. It's unbelievable. Like, I don't have to go very far to, you know, we're not talking small garbage either. So there's been quite a bit on this site. I was spending a couple hours at least today just cleaning it up. And yeah, I can't believe it. I mean, this is a backcountry area. It's not super accessible. There's a 1.5 kilometer portage into the lake, but it's accessible by quad. So typically there's a lot of boats that are left in here, so you can quad in easy, bring a motor, obviously carry more stuff than you would on a canoe trip. So that's part of the problem there. Last time I was here was years ago when I took the Jeep in here. You were still able to drive in, but now it's not possible. But yeah, surprised by the garbage. I mean, I don't understand how people, some people leave the garbage. A lot of broken glass too. Like, why would you even bring glass? So, I mean, it doesn't make sense to me, but I guess obviously the people who are leaving garbage don't really care. So it's kind of a shame, and just encourage people, just be careful about the stuff you're bringing. You got to take it all out. Just be considerate. Like, why leave garbage? I mean, there's some food that was in the fire pit, and there's some fish skins on the shore and stuff too. So it's not only the garbage side of things that irritates me, but you leave food in that, and then bears come. And I mean, black bears, I think, could remember sources of food for up to 2 years or something silly like that. So if they get into food on the site, they're going to keep coming back, and it's part of their routine. So obviously that's goes a bit beyond than simply just littering. I mean, that gets into safety as well too, just being bear smart. So message to everyone out there. I know there's a lot of people out there that don't do that, but it just spoils it for everybody else. So I'll do my part and try to take as much as I can out, which I'll show you what I have so far. My collection, which is pretty big. So here's the pile I have so far. Like, there's about 10 or 12 crates there. We have glass bottles. One of them was broken, was a Pepsi 1.5 liter glass bottle, so I don't know how old that is. Lots of metal, propane tanks, cans, plastic jugs. That's some sort of inflatable mattress, I think, and a gas can. So there's probably at least double this amount still on the island. So I'm gonna keep at it, try to take as much out as I can. Just past 4 o'clock. Still a little windy out, but the snow stopped and the sun keeps poking through every now and again. So I'm just gonna do a little fishing. I'm gonna start off just with some jigging. Just have a jig with this minnow on there. So I'm gonna move around. I'm gonna stick kind of behind my campsite as much as I can to stay out of the wind. And hopefully I catch something. So it could be a good spot. We got the wind blowing from the north, which could be blowing the bait fish around right into the calmer water here. So sometimes you get the fish just kind of waiting there as an ambush spot to get the bait fish as they go by. So this could work out good for me. So I'm gonna try jigging for a little bit, see where that goes, and hopefully I can catch something. Kind of windy to fish, get blown around on the side of the island. There's some pretty strong gusts, but just taking a quick paddle. I noticed there's some flagging tape just across from my campsite. A whole bunch of tape all over the place, so I'm just wondering what that's all about. know there's another little lake, it looks like, that I wanted to explore. That's kind of inland. I'm not sure if that's what that's for, but I'm gonna get off the water here for a few minutes and just do a little bit of exploring on land. Still a little exploring overland, following a trail. It's a fresh trail. It would have been from this year, probably. Fresh blazes and flagging tape. Second time I've come across where they've had a cut tree in the stump that had markings on it, some information with names and dates and times and stuff like that. So I'm not sure what that's all about. I don't know if that's from some training exercise. I know the military does training in the area in this park. I don't know if that's what it is. When I was on Rabbit River, I came across a similar trail. Or if it's a trap line of some sorts, I have no idea. So I followed it a ways, and I'm thinking it goes to this lake, which I'll put a picture on the map. Picture of the map on the video. Thinking that's where it goes. It started angling around, and I didn't have my GPS, so I went walking for about 45 minutes. It was quite overgrown in some spots, and then I came to an area where it's clearly marked, but it would have taken a lot of work just to find a way around. So I really started to sweat, and so I didn't want to go anymore. I get too wet, and it's later in the day. It's around 5:30 or so, and I don't have my GPS, so I thought about bringing it, and I was like, nah, I don't need it. I'm just fishing. There you go. Murphy's Law, right? So anyways, that's interesting. I'll maybe, I don't know if I'll do that again on this trip, but I'll keep that in mind and maybe see where my Spot X drops a pin every 10 minutes. So I'll see where it dropped it, hopefully, and then I'll see how far I went inland and see where it was. So if anybody knows what those markings are, let me know. I'm curious. Second time I've come across that. So I'm going to troll around a little bit and then make my way back to camp. I'm a little sweaty, so I wouldn't mind spending some time by the fire to try to dry up a little bit before I put my clothes away for the night. There's my campsite right there. And campsite 1 is just right over there. It's hard to tell from the video, but there were whitecaps there just a while ago. So it's a north wind. It's coming across there. I got a good break here. So what's happening when I'm fishing is the wind's coming around this side, and then it's coming around this side. So I'm getting blown, I'm getting gusts of wind from both sides. And when you're in a light canoe, that's kind of a little bit scary there when the wind just takes off like that. So would like to do some more exploring, but if I go into there, I could be battling the wind and just not worth it at this point. So hopefully tomorrow it dies down. Difficult with these wind gusts. Kind of nice because I was sweating, but this wind is drying me off, which is nice. But the problem with fishing in a canoe in this wind is fighting the wind. And then if you get a fish, you got to stop paddling, and that's where things can get a little hairy. So I'll be out here for a few more minutes, but not too much longer. Oh, I think I'm gonna head in. Well, it's 6 o'clock. The a little bit of blue sky with the sun coming through, so I might actually get a good sunset. So I'm gonna get ready for that, which would be great considering it's been cloudy this whole. It's been off and on, a little bit of sun, but it's mixed clouds. So if I get a good sunset out of this, that'd be great. But I've been paddling around, trolling in the one little area that I can troll in between the backside of this island out of the wind, and nothing yet. And I mean, this time of year in the fall, kind of have to move around and find where they're hanging out. Can't just assume that they're everywhere. So there's a couple spots I know that are better for fishing, but can't get to it today. So hopefully I'll try tomorrow. But I'll get back to the campsite. Should still have the embers from the fire still smoldering, so I'll be able to just stoke the fire and get ready for tonight. Just getting the fire going, getting ready for the evening. It's about -2. I just carry a little, just a little portable thermometer, so it's about -2 or -3. And so far, my clothing selection's been pretty good. So this is an Outdoor Research Windstopper fleece jacket. I don't think they make it anymore. This is one of my bargain finds at a thrift store. So it cost me, I think it was like $10 maybe. So it's a pretty nice jacket. It has the armpit zips as well too, so when I was starting to sweat I just lowered the zipper and then I can close it back up when I want to warm up a bit. So super good. Underneath I'm wearing, this is a Columbia turtleneck fleece. This was my spare sweater, and I just put it on just when I was on the water since I knew it'd be a little cooler. And this is the Under Armour Merino Poly blend base layer that I wore when I was coming in yesterday. And then I'm wearing my Helly Hansen rain pants. And then I also have another bargain find, which is some Lululemon hiking pants. So they're stretchy, they're durable, they're a little bit warmer than the summertime. And again, that was another low dollar amount. So keep an eye out. If you go to a thrift store, look around. There's some good deals to be had. And then I brought insulated rubber boots. I think they're rated to like -50 or something. I wear them for hunting in the winter as well. Yeah, they're perfect for around camp. When I was hiking in the bush, they don't give the same support as the hiking boots that I wore coming into here. So rubber boots are still good for camp, but as far as portaging and hiking through the bush, I don't think it's I would recommend that. But good thing I chose these winter boots over my hiking shoes, and you know, always get my feet wet kind of mentality. Just with the cold weather, I had to change my approach, so I'm glad I had good instincts there. And then on top of that, I have my rain jacket. So between all that, I've been toasty warm all trip, so it's been a good combination. And just getting ready, fire's going, and then got the sun coming in, sunset coming in behind me, so hopefully it doesn't get clouded over. I'm gonna get a few videos and good pictures, so stay tuned. Just having my first coffee of the day. Just didn't feel like one in the morning. Just felt like one now, just to warm me up and keep me going for the next few hours. So just on, I guess the northwest corner of the island, just set up here. There's actually a little bit of clear skies there. So I'm sitting here having a coffee, watching the sunset. So I'm hoping the sky lights up a little bit, but we'll see. With all this cloud cover, I'm not sure, but it looks like there's a little break in the action there. So hopefully I'll get some good pictures and video sunsets. Sunsets are probably my favorite. So that's the bonus and the reward when you come out in the backcountry, is when you're gifted with a beautiful sunrise or sunset. So tomorrow I'm going to attempt to roll out of bed early. Maybe there'll be a sunrise. I don't know if I'll see it from my campsite, but try to get up early and make the most of the day. Gonna get some supper going here. Get the fires going nice and hot. Going for a while. So what I'm gonna have is the Peak Refuel home style chicken and rice. I've had this brand before and it's actually really good. My all-time favorite still is Mountain House, but these guys are putting out some really good stuff. Their beef stroganoff is the best I've ever tasted out of any of the companies, and even just homemade beef stroganoff. It's that good. So I'm gonna boil up some water and get supper ready. Here's a tip for the Peak Refuel guys. Look at how much water I need. It's getting darker. The camera brings in more light, so I'm using it. 8 ounces of boiling water. Add 1 cup. 8 ounces boiling water. So I can't see that writing the instructions under dim light, so I have to use my camera to pick it up. So there's a tip for Peak. Your food's awesome, but maybe a little tip there for that dark print. Little oxygen packet out. That's what it looks like before you add water. It said to only add about 8 ounces, so I put a bit more water in there because it didn't seem like enough. And I don't mind if it's a little bit more runny anyways. So we'll give this a good stir. Just want to stir right into the bottom of the gusset. It's called a gusseted pouch because it sits standing up. Give it a good stir. That's what it looks like wet. If you don't have a long handled spoon, you should get one. Way more easier to do this. So I'm going to seal this up and let it sit for 10 minutes. And then chow time. Beautiful night. It's cooling down. See my breath? It feels nice right by the fire to warm up. I'm gonna warm up and get some food in my belly and then hang out in the tent. So maybe I'll read for a little while or look at the map and stay up for a couple more hours and then turn it in. All right, time to eat. fire's nice. It's giving off some pretty good heat. Also using it to kind of dry my gloves a little bit, and the washcloth, which was hard like a board, so it was frozen. I checked the thermometer, it's about -5 right now. So I'm sure it's going to, it's only 7 o'clock right now. So I bet you it's going to get a little bit more colder tonight. I think on the forecast it was -7, -8, somewhere in there. Glad I added more water. It's like the perfect texture, so I think I might have been a little less light on the water if I followed the instructions, but I am also in camp, so my measuring's not exactly precision here, so I usually like to be on the heavier side. So I got everything tidied up, got my food and my gear in a bag. So I'm going to show you how I usually secure it at night, both my canoe and my gear and food bag. This is usually my setup if I'm not hanging my food in Manitoba. Some of these places don't have a lot of good trees you can hang from. So this is my gear bag. It's just used for gear, and usually there's my food bag in here too, which is in a dry bag itself. So the food goes in here. I seal everything up. I put this cover over it, this carabiner that goes to the canoe. So I'll turn the canoe and cover it over top. I have a bear bell here. I just like to know if there's a rodent or a bear getting into it. I want to hear it. And it's usually on top of juniper or in a pine tree ideally, just to mask any scent that's getting there. So I've been using this for the last few years. I mean, one of these times I'm gonna have a mouse or something get into it, but so far so good. Haven't had any issues. So I think the combination with being careful with scent in the bag in here, and then I have a backpack rain cover that goes over top of it to keep everything kind of dry and contained, and it's just another layer of odor control as well. So that's my system. So I'm going to flip over the canoe, and then I'm going to tie the canoe to the trees. The wind and the snow are picking up. I'm not sure if you can see the snowflakes on the camera. They're quite small, just a little bit coming down right now. But I think we're in for a little snow tonight. Probably gonna be colder, feels like it, than yesterday. And might wake up to some more snow. Just took the pole down, just to slope the tarp, just in case we get a good amount of snow. I don't want that, the weight of the snow pushing down on the tarp, possibly tearing it. Here's what I wear to bed. You'll have to ignore my ugly feet here. So I have these socks, which was again a sample from work. You read it there, MAETRX. It's synthetic material. It's not merino wool. It's really thin, but it actually is really good at wicking away the moisture and keeping your feet warm. So I'm gonna put those on first. That's the nice thing about being so thin. You can double them up. And then I have these Wool Love 100% merino wool socks. First time using these, and they've been really good so far. And there you go. That's what I got. Now it's important to keep a pair of socks in the socks that you're wearing for bed. So these ones stay in the tent always. Want to keep those dry. And even if my other socks, if I don't have extras, are wet, I'd wear those because need something dry for at nighttime, just to keep you warm. Now the socks I wore during the day, I actually wore these wool socks. I just hang them up here and they'll sit here overnight. I'll see if they dry at night. They're just damp, they didn't get wet. Or I'll let them hang here all day. I had another pair of wool socks that I wore when I came down, and they were hanging there all day today and are dry. So it's a benefit of having an extra sock. These are still wet. I got the other pair that I'll wear outside, and then these ones will be ready again. But on my final day, I'll probably end up wearing these socks, since I won't have to sleep in them again. I could just wear them out of here. So one thing I was reading about for cold weather camping was adding items into your sleeping bag at night. So I do have various items, like my water filter is in here, to keep it from freezing, and then adding in clothing for extra insulation. So that's what I did yesterday. I added a bunch of clothes that I plan on wearing during the day, just in between my liner here, right over top of my feet. Feet are the first place for me that always get cold, so any added insulation, the better. And then I got my shirt here. There you go. The added bonus of putting your clothes in there is in the morning they're still warm, so that's kind of nice, putting on warmish clothes. I also have my electronics, batteries, flashlights, that go in here overnight. I throw in my bear spray. I don't think it really freezes, but might as well throw it in there. And that's pretty much it. My headlamp I actually wear around my neck, so it's easily accessible and it stays warm under my sleeping bag. So I don't want to be getting up in the middle of the night scrambling for a flashlight, and so it's kind of nice. I just kind of drop it down like this, and that's where it sits at night. I thought it'd be uncomfortable, but it actually was. It wasn't. I didn't even know it was there, so that worked out. It's about 8 o'clock. I'm all settled in, wrapped up tight, nice and cozy, and I think I'm gonna do a little reading. So I picked up this book, Canoeing Manitoba Rivers by John Buchanan. So it's an older book, but when I'm at thrift shops, I'm always looking in the book section for books like this. So should be a good read, and then I get to read up all the different rivers. I mean, even though it's an older book, a lot of it's still relevant today, and it should be a good read. So I'll just hang out here for the next hour or so, read a book, charge up some of my devices and charge up my phone, and then we'll call it a night. So I could feel it's definitely colder than it was yesterday. So it's gonna be a little colder night, but I think I'll be warm enough. I did bring some of these warmers. So this is warm for 14 hours. It's one of the larger Mr. Heaters. So I got a bunch of these. So if I get cold, I'll throw it in a sock or something, and then throw them in my sleeping bag, which should work good. So yeah, it's good to have just in case. We'll see you tomorrow.